Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe. Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadrama. Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Padvacharya Aswata Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Chandravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Anant Koti Vaishnavrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, नवदीप धाम की, श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामी की, यमुना माई की, श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की, सामवेद भक्तवृंद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastai Bhukleshmate Bir Krishna Goswami Niti Namne Namo Hamsa Nikashaya Prabhupada Priyate Sudadashi Dinishta Benta Sevakya Nivadine. Okay, so welcome again this morning to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Welcome to all our Mayapur online TV viewers, Mayapur TV viewers, as well as the ISKCON Sydney YouTube, and I think Facebook also, the different mediums. So this morning we are going to be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's Canto 3, Chapter 11, titled Calculation of Time from the Atom. So it is quite technical in spiritual terms. But we'll try to imbibe some stories in there also, hopefully today. And we are reading from text 35. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Naruttamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nasta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya भागवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपाकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. Okay, so पूर्वस्यादौ परार्धस्य ब्रह्मो नमा महान् अभूत्. ब्रह्मो महान् अभूत्. कल्पो यत्र भवद् ब्रह्मा शब्द ब्रह्मेति यं विदुः. पूर्वस्यादौ परार्धस्य ब्रह्मो नमा महान् अभूत्. कल्पो यत्र भवद् ब्रह्मा शब्द ब्रह्मेति यं विदुः. पूर्वस्यादौ परार्धस्य ब्रह्मो नमा महान् अभूत्. कल्पो यत्र भवद् ब्रह्मा शब्द ब्रह्मेति यं विदुः. पूर्वस्यादौ परार्धस्य ब्रह्मो नमा महान् अभूत्. कल्पो यत्र भवद् ब्रह्मा शब्द ब्रह्मेति यं विदुः. पूर्वस्यादौ परार्धस्य ब्रह्मो नमा महान् अभूत्. कल्पो यत्र भवद् ब्रह्मा शब्द ब्रह्मेति यं विदुः. Okay, word for word. Purvasya, of the first half. Adau, in the beginning. Parardhasya, of the superior half. Brahma, Brahmakalpa. Nama, of the name. Mahan, very great. Abhut, was manifest. Kalpa, millennium. Yatra, whereupon. Abhavat, appeared. Brahma, Lord Brahma. Shabda Brahma iti, the sounds of the Vedas. Yam, which. Vidu, they know. Okay, so we've got the translation and the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So translation reads, in the beginning of the first half of Brahma's life, there was a millennium called Brahma Kalpa, wherein Lord Brahma appeared. The birth of the Vedas was simultaneous with Brahma's birth. So we can all repeat. In the beginning of the first half of Brahma's life, there was a millennium called Brahma Kalpa, wherein Lord Brahma appeared. The birth of the Vedas was simultaneous with Brahma's birth. Okay, so the purport. According to Padma Puran, Prabhasha Khanda, in 30 days of Brahma, many kalpas take place, such as Varaha Kalpa, Pitra Kalpa. 30 days make 1 month of Brahma, beginning from the full moon to the disappearance of the moon. 12 such months complete 1 year, and 50 years complete one parardha, or 1/2 of the duration of the life of Brahma. The Shweta Varaha appearance of the Lord is the first birthday of Brahma. The birth date of Brahma is in the month of March, according to Hindu astronomical calculation. This statement is reproduced from the explanation of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So that ends the purport. We'll just do a little bit of Mangal Charan. So, Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatan Vitam Tamsa Jivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhuva Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivastadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. So this particular shlok is describing Lord Brahma and his birth. So you know that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he expands himself into Karna Dakshai Vishnu, and then he expands himself further into Garbho Dakshai Vishnu. And as Garbho Dakshai Vishnu, he lies on the causal ocean, the waters. And then from there, there's a stem that sprouts from his navel. And on the stem, the lotus stem, Brahma is born. Or Brahma finds himself there. So, it's not really a mystery. Brahma is basically just like us in terms of life. He has to also live 100 years. We also have 100 years of lifetime. Obviously, some of us will have shorter span, less than 100, but I think limit is 100. So don't know when I will go, when you will go. As Karna Dakshai Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, when he breathes, the Mahavishnu, when he breathes, there's so many universes in one breath that is created. So many as Mahavishnu, and there's a photo somewhere. I believe they're right there. So you can have an image in your mind. Actually, every morning when we chant, I have to take a look at all the pictures because it reminds me of certain pastimes. I was just having a look at this one here. The one that Krishna is there in his expansions, and he has many hands. I'm just sort of digressing a little bit from what I was just saying. This is Lord Brahma's pastimes actually, which we will come to hopefully. And Lord Brahma, actually I can just speak about it now. What Lord Brahma had done was he was trying to play a trick on Lord Krishna. He saw a little cowhead boy, blue little boy, and he was thinking, oh, is he God? Let me try. You know, for a minute there, for a moment, Lord Brahma had come under this illusion, and the illusion was due to Lord Krishna's desire, because Lord Krishna had wanted to fulfill the wishes of the Vrajdham residents. They wanted him as a son, or and the cows also. They had wanted him as their son, as a calf. So Lord Krishna put Brahma in illusion. What I'm trying to say is that Brahma is, even though he is such a highly elevated soul, in some millenniums, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, himself comes down as Lord Brahma. Other times, Lord Brahma is a Jiva soul, like any one of us. But there are certain millenniums, Lord Krishna comes as Brahma, so he's such a highly elevated soul. So, even in that state, he comes under illusion. In other words, he's very prone, obviously, to death, 100 years. And even though he has taught us the Vedas, we are actually from his sampradaya. We are learning Srimad Bhagavatam from Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma first realized Lord Krishna. There's another picture over there where Lord Krishna is playing the flute and Lord Brahma is there and sitting on the lotus flower. He had been sitting there for millions and millions of years. When the stem sprouted out from the navel, he was deliberating, who am I? That's what we are doing right now too. We are wondering, who are we? What is our purpose of life? So Brahma did the same thing, actually nothing different from us. The only difference was there was nobody else when Brahma was born, not a single person. He was the only one. In our case, there is many. And so Lord Krishna had basically what he'd done after all this meditation, he had played his flute. As you can see, he's playing the flute. There's the sound. The sound went through Lord Brahma's ears and to his heart. And through within Brahma, he was initiated by Lord Krishna. Initiated means given the knowledge, given the gyan. And then there he understood and he compiled the Brahma Samhita. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. In that one he had said, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidanand Vigrahat Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. In other words, he acknowledged Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God at that time. So he knew Lord Krishna is God. He knew. And then for another 1,000 demigod years, he sat and meditated so that he could do this creation. So this is Lord Brahma's story in a nutshell. So then, if he's so realized, he was initiated by Lord Krishna himself, how did he get into this illusion that this picture is depicting us today, this morning, where he tries to test Krishna. He tries to test Krishna and say, is he really God? He's a little boy and everybody is running around him. And, everybody's bowing down to him and, treating him like God. Let me, for a moment, steal all his calves. So what Krishna had done is put him under illusion, some kind of maya. The reason was that all the cows, whenever they saw Krishna, they wanted him as their calf. When all the Vrajavasis, they saw Krishna, they wanted him as a son. So what he'd done is Lord Brahma had taken the calves for just a moment of his time. But in Lord Krishna's time, it was one whole year. So there were no calves. There were no cowherd boys. He had also taken the cowherd boys. So what Krishna did, according to this picture, he expanded himself. And turned himself into calves. Little calves and little cowherd boys. And so he fulfilled the wish of the Vrajavasis. Now we can learn two things from there. One, Krishna can do anything. He can defeat anyone, including Lord Brahma. And the second thing, which is the most important thing, which is applicable to all of us, which we want, because every time we hear Lord Krishna's pastimes, we want to know what's in it for us, right? We want to know what's in it for us, obviously. That's the second point. Lord Krishna fulfills your wishes. So if you happen to be sitting there today and you have an incredible desire of something, and you are devoted to him, and you are chanting his names, all you have to do, put your palms together, make a prayer to Lord Krishna. He will certainly and definitely fulfill your wishes. When we go to Vrajadham, there is like the Kalpavriksha trees, which is the desire trees, and we make a desire tree wish there. But when you have the deity of Lord Krishna, Lord Gopinath here, you need no desire tree. Actually, you need none. I remember this from personal experience. I'm not going to go into it too detail, but 20 years ago, I was standing in that corner there with that black tile. It was Krishna Janmashtami, and not 20 years ago, I think 22 years ago, a long time ago. This place was full of people, this Krishna Janmashtami going on, festivities, this kirtan. I was trying to get a glimpse of Gopinath there, couldn't, short as I am. And I just could stand in that corner. So my prayer was, I've come all this way for the first time, I, Gopinath, I want to see you. I was not a devotee at that time. I was actually in a mode of in a dangerous mode, more than what I am now. Was taking meat. At that time I was a full devotee, but I was chanting. The sprout of bhaktis, yoga, bhakti, devotional service was also sprouting at that time. So I was standing in that corner and I had made that prayer. I'm coming to that point where you put your palms together and make a prayer. So I made the prayer to Gopinath, give me some access here. I'm standing in a corner and I can't see you. And I'd like to come to your temple. Little did I know that 22 years later, it didn't come immediately, but I was standing on the altar performing arti for him. Sitting here giving a class and no longer meet eater. So the desire, if it is there, is strong enough, it will come true. So I was just observing the picture here, and because I was attending a class by His Holiness Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj the other day, and he was talking about the forms of Lord Krishna, and he was saying, the 4 arms when he's Lord Vishnu. Actually, Lord Krishna has many forms, like he comes in Narayan, Hari, Vishnu, as Krishna himself, Hayagriva, many, and they all have these 4 arms, and they hold those 4 symbols, right? The conch shell, the lotus, what else? Gada and chakra. And what happens is in each form, he holds them in different order. Like sometimes he holds the Gada chakra in the right hand and the lotus conch in the left hand. Or sometimes, the upper hand in the lower hand, it interchanges. So in my dream, I had seen, actually, so Gurudev actually said that there's 2 which are weapons, which will be chakra and the Gada. And the 2, the lotus and the conch, they are not weapons. They are used to give blessings. So I'm coming to the point where I was making that wish, that dream. I had that dream of just a blue arm. I didn't see the full form of Krishna. I don't think we have to be really, really highly realized to be able to see full form of Krishna. I just saw an arm, blue arm, raising the conch shell. And raising the conch shell, and then I had a fruit in my hand. And this is the dream, obviously. I wasn't really happy with the fruit. So I said, what did I get here? What I really wanted to do was, obviously, he's Krishna, you love him, you want to embrace him. So I just wanted to talk to Krishna or something. No, I didn't want anything. So I thought, oh, this is a fruit, I don't want it. I went and put it on the altar. So this morning I had a good look at the picture today. There is an arm there with a conch shell. And he has got a few baskets of fruit there. So you actually, whatever I had dreamed 22 years ago, that was kind of signified in this picture this morning that I found. So I'm trying to, it's funny that I'm sharing. This is Lord Brahma's pastime that we are going through. But connecting it with Gurudev's class, he said that the conch shell is meant for blessings. So that day I saw the conch shell raised. So the blessings, in other words, is that whatever service I'm doing. Coming to the point, Lord Brahma did this. It didn't just deliver or fulfill the wishes of the desires of the Vrajavasis. Also fulfills our desires here, today, now. Right now. You can actually make a wish or make a prayer, and that will come true eventually. That's what. That's what we should all aspire for. I had rejected that fruit that day, but today I'm thinking that I shouldn't have rejected the fruit. Maybe it had some good points in there, which I did. Anyway. So coming back to Brahma. Now Brahma is obviously he's a highly elevated soul. Where is he at the moment? Because in this shlok it is said the first half of Brahma's life. Actually, Brahma has already lived through the first half of life. Does anybody know how old Brahma is at the moment? Yes, I think I said that in the last class. Yes, he's finished 50 and he's on his 51st year. So he's finished the first half of his year. Does anybody know what time it is in Brahma's life at the moment? What time? Yes, correct. It's 1 o'clock. So he's having an afternoon time. He must have finished lunch. So we are in that period. So what happens in Lord Brahma's life, like one day, he has 12 hours. In that 12 hours, he produces 14 Manus. Now, who are Manus? Manus are the fathers of mankind. So, Manus actually are like a Prajapati. They are our father. They actually produce all these jivas and populates the world. So, we come from Manu. Our Manu is Vaivashvata Manu, is the seventh one. 6 Manus have come and gone. So there's 7 more to go after this one. And our Manu lives to 71 cycles. So 71 cycles of what? The yugas. So one cycle will be the Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, Kalyug. So you multiply that by 71 times, it comes and goes. That's the end of one Manu. And part of Brahma's life. So we are in the 7th Manu, and he has finished 27 cycles. He's on the 28th cycle. We are at the end of the 28th cycle. We are in Kali Yuga. And I think I mentioned in the last class, we are very lucky because Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they come in the 28th cycle of the 7th Manu. Now, Brahma, what happens to him? Well, in his day, obviously, he is creating, because we're talking about Brahma, so I should talk about him a little bit more than the Manus. While he's creating, he also, has to sleep sometimes. So after 12 years, he will sleep. What happens after, when he's, I think you probably already know, what happens when he sleeps? There is what? Yes, there is annihilation, which is devastation. It goes up to the sun planets, so then everybody has to take shelter above those planets, if they can. Now, that's one dissolution, the one annihilation, one devastation. Another kind of devastation is when the end of the Manu. So one Manu dies, there's a partial, like a small dissolution. I'm coming to a funny story. Like, that's normally, it works on a routine, like a clockwork. So one Manu comes, he lives for 71 kalpas, Mahakalpas, and then he dies. There's a little dissolution. The earth is underwater, submerged underwater, and Lord Brahma, when he looks at it, he gets scared, even though he's not affected. But he's still very much scared of the force of the waters. And it's actually quite scary to die and everything. And that fear causes Lord Brahma to meditate and pray for his own life. In other words, I'm going to come to that point, we've got some time, a little bit later, on what we should do. I mean, we should actually, when Brahma is scared, how does that affect us? How does that affect us? So, Brahma is actually witnessing this dissolution, and he gets scared. Okay, after that, the next Manu is born, and then everything is created again. So there is one incident where Lord Brahma actually has created all these sages also, 7 sages, and he has created the 4 Sanat Kumars and Rudra, which is Lord Shiva, and Manu comes from there too. So this sage, one of the sages, Agastya Muni, he had cursed the first Manu. There was some incident, the details were not given in the Srimad Bhagavatam when I was reading it. So, but in any case, the first Manu's name was Swayambhuva, and he had this fallout with Swayambhuva for some reason. Actually, Agastya Muni, these Rishis Munis, they are very prone to cursing. You've got to be very careful of them. So, he cursed Swayambhuva Manu, and but it was because it was a desire of Lord Krishna, as usual. Just like when Lord Brahma had stolen the calves, it was by desire of Lord Krishna. He wanted to fulfill somebody's desire. So this particular incident where Agastya Muni was cursing Swayambhuva Manu, Lord Krishna's desire was to show the 6th Manu. The 6th Manu is Chakshusha. So 4, 5 Manus have come and gone. The 6th one, the one just before ours is a 7th one, right? So Chakshusha Manu, Lord Krishna wanted to show him the devastation for some reason. But obviously, Chakshusha Manu will have to be alive to see it. So how is it connected with the curse? What happened is, the curse, in that curse, it was, Agastya Muni's curse was that there will be devastation. So what happened was, Lord Brahma was going about his daily activities, and the sixth Manu was there, Chakshusha, Swambhuva came and went. And then in the daytime, Brahma was doing his activities, and all of a sudden he felt sleepy. So his 12 hours was not up yet. It was probably just like now, 1 p.m. in his time. And Lord Krishna actually made him fall sleepy. And then he fell asleep. And as soon as he sleeps, there's darkness. And there was devastation. So Chakshush Manu actually could see the devastation. And Lord Krishna actually saved him. The Satyavrata, I think his name was, another name for him. And Lord Krishna came in the form of Matsya, the fish, and he pulled the boat in the waters. And it is described, I mean, can you just imagine these huge waves and everything? You go out to this ocean and there's a disturbance there and you get scared just looking at the waves. But this is huge, humongous we are talking about. Lord Krishna was just, it was described that Lord Krishna was just pulling the boat like a toy and having fun with it. He was having fun in the dangerous waters where even Lord Brahma is shaking in his shoes. But he saved Chakshush Manu. So that was an unusual situation. But usually everything works in a clockwork, like clockwork. There's devastation, and then Lord Brahma sleeps, there's partial dissolution, partial annihilation, and then when at the age of 100 years, Lord Brahma dies, that everything is destroyed. That's the final dissolution. Everything is gone. Now that happens in one breath of Mahavishnu. So if you can imagine one breath you take and out, that's the life of Lord Brahma. One breath, out, Lord Brahma goes. And not only one Brahma, many Brahmas. Because there's so many universes created in one breath. So each universe will have its own Brahma. And according to the size of the universe, that's how many number of heads the Brahma will have. So how many heads does our Brahma have? Sorry, I'm making it interactive class today. 4. Yes. And so 4. And it is said we have 4 Vedas, so each head produces one Veda. It has been spoken. I don't have the actual reference to it, but anyway, our universe is the smallest. So our Brahma is the smallest. So another pastime of that is when Lord Brahma went to see Lord Krishna in Dwarka, and he was feeling a bit ahankari or arrogant. And he knocked on the Dwarka's door and he said, "Tell Lord Krishna, Brahma is here." He told the doorman. And doorman went and told Krishna, Brahma is here to see you. And Lord Krishna obviously knows everything. He decided to teach Lord Brahma yet another lesson. Now why does this happen? Lord Brahma is always in learning lessons. Because when he returned the cows, these cows and these cowherd boys, he came and saw that there were so many of exact similar cows and, some similar cowherd boys. He was astounded. He was really shocked. Lord Krishna taught him a lesson there, I'm God and you cannot win from me. And the second time he went to see him in Dwarka, and Lord Krishna decided to teach him a lesson yet again. And that lesson was, you are not the only Brahma. Lord Krishna asked the doorman, which Brahma? And then he summoned all the Brahmas from all the universes. With thousands of heads, hundreds of heads, they all bowed down. And it was said it was a tumultuous sound, crashing sound, when all the Brahmas' heads and helmets hit the floor. So now that's the second lesson Lord Brahma learned. So Lord Krishna is always teaching Lord Brahma all these lessons, but he is supposed to be our leader. He's supposed to be perfect. But he's not. Because the modes of nature, it is so strong, Maya, it is so strong, illusion, it even gets hold of Lord Brahma, what to speak of us. So I'm coming to the point where, what is it that we need to do? That point that I had said, even Lord Brahma gets scared when he sees the waters of dissolution. He gets so scared, he starts meditating, he starts chanting Hare Krishna. He starts taking shelter. That is what we need to learn from Lord Brahma. Because if he can fall prone to illusion, Maya, where Lord Krishna has to teach him some lessons, just imagine our position. Our position is also very, very weak. We can come into Maya at any time, at any point. So, what's the solution? Right from Brahma to Manu to Lord Shiva, all, even the sages, they all chant, they meditate on Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. That's what we need to do also. It is being said, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not just for Kali Yuga. We are in Kali Yuga, right? It's not just for Kali Yuga. It actually was there since Satyuga and many, many years ago. It is more prominent for us now because we are not as pure as the residents of Satyuga. So we are, very contaminated. But that's what we need to do, is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But that's not all. That's not all. We need to practice something called devotional service. Devotional service, the 9 processes of bhakti. Chanting, hearing, remembering, offering, prayers, worshipping the deity, complete surrender, serving at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. All these things we have to do. These are the 9 processes of devotional service that we have to do. So the question is, do we have to do all 9? Yes. Will you be able to? Yes. Well, there is one activity that we can do where we can cover all 9. Anyone has a guess? What? Chanting, that's only chanting. Preaching. Preaching covers everything. You are chanting, you are hearing, you are offering your worship, you are offering yourself, you are remembering Krishna, you are doing all. But the actual answer is you can actually get by with just chanting or hearing. So you don't have to do that all of the 9. You can only do 1 if that's and that still delivers you. So sometimes we say, what is your service? You're coming to the temple. What is your service? And you say, well, I'm new. I just came to the temple. I'm initiated, but I don't have any service. I just come and I look at the lordships and I go. That's devotional service. That is service. You come and look at them. You come and say your prayer. That's devotional service. Oh, otherwise, you just sit and chant. That is your service. And it's only through that devotional service that you get purified enough to be able to transcend this death. Because Brahma is scared of dying. Manu is scared of dying. The sages all and the demigods are scared of dying. We are scared of dying. We will die, obviously. We are born, we are aging, we will die. But the whole point is that we don't want to die again and again and again. So, if somebody asks, does Hare Krishna, movement, does ISKCON, can it save you from death? The answer is yes. We might die physically in this life, but we will never die again. If we take this process of chanting Hare Krishna, Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If we take this process, we don't die again. So, ISKCON, or the Hare Krishna movement, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, it can stop you from dying. It can make you immortal. The purification, what it does, it purifies your heart, and what happens is the love for Krishna becomes very evident, that oh, hey, wait a minute, I'm Lord Krishna's friend, or I'm Lord Krishna's son, or Lord Krishna is my son, or I'm Lord Krishna's cow. You could say that too. I mean, I was thinking personally that if I don't know if I'll ever go there, obviously, to the spiritual world. But it is said that Uddhav, Lord Krishna's cousin, his wish was that he'd become the grass there. Right? He becomes the grass so that all the gopis can run on him, Krishna can run all the cows, and he can get the dust of their feet on him. And I was thinking, if I went to the spiritual world, I don't think I'll be able to step on the grass because that's Uddhav. Right. So we could realize that we are maybe a plant or a creeper or maybe grass like Uddhav, something. Once we realize that, we're ready to go back to Godhead and perform devotional service fully and totally. So right now, what are we doing? Right now, we are practicing devotional service. It's a practice. That's what we are doing. We are actually in the process of practicing. And keep on practicing and practicing and practicing. And you will die this life. Hopefully, at the end of this life, you'll be able to be performing full devotional service with Lord Krishna. And then you might be able to sit with him and eat those fruits while he's having lunch. You might be able to do that. Or you might be able to, play with him in the forest or whatever. Or you could, get interested in pastimes, the Govardhan pastimes. Lord Krishna is holding the hill and you can stand under there and feel protected with Lord Krishna. At the moment, all of us should be feeling protected. Just like that. Why? Because it's raining outside. Not the real rain. Maybe it's raining corona. Maybe it's raining sadness or something. Something's happening in your life. Some struggles are there. So it's raining in your life. Your particular situation, it's raining. So you should not feel like Lord Krishna is not protecting you. Lord Krishna, if he can lift the Govardhan hill with a little finger on his left hand for 7 days and 7 nights to protect the residents of Brajdham, why can he not protect you during these times when you are chanting Hare Krishna? You will be under protection. He will protect you no matter what, because he has declared in Bhagavad-Gita, in black and white, it's written there, declare boldly that my devotee shall never perish. He has said it, that's it. And Lord Krishna, whatever he says, he means it. Probably your next door neighbor will say, okay, yeah, you will never perish. He doesn't mean it. He's lying because he's an ordinary soul. But Lord Krishna is God. So if he says, declare boldly that my devotee will never perish, he means it. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we ask, like I was saying, I was standing in that corner making a prayer, and today I'm able to practice and be of some service. So if you are standing there making a prayer for protection, he will give you. Because he said, I will protect my devotees. And that's what we need to learn from Lord Brahma, like, we were talking about him. Lord Brahma is also praying for protection. And that's what we need to do. So how do we do it? It's one last sentence, we've just reached our time, is what Lord Krishna said to Arjuna in the Bhagavad-Gita. What did he say? Anybody? Sorry, I'm asking too many questions today. In regards to Arjuna's dilemma of not fighting, what did Lord Krishna say? Yes. Yes. So Lord Krishna said, yes, this is the answer. Prabhu has said that keep doing your karma. Yes, keep practicing your karma without any hesitation. What does that really mean? Any further expansions on that? That is correct. Yes, your intentions. And what is the intention? To serve Krishna. That's it. Yes, that is what our intention should be. In other words, in the Bhagavad-Gita, Lord Krishna told Arjuna, I'm God, right? You do your karma, you do as I tell you. Because I'm right, I'm God. In other words, he's asking Arjuna to do what he says. So what we should do is just be like that Arjun. We should do our karma with the intention of serving Lord Krishna by listening to Lord Krishna. So whatever he says do, you do. That's the instruction given in the Bhagavad-Gita. He is our boss, he is our instructor. And so how do we know what Krishna is telling us to do this or do that? Now one way is we have a spiritual master, if you have taken aspiration from a spiritual master. Another one is read Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada has got so many instructions, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. One of the things he has said is don't take meat, and fish and eggs, don't take alcohol, don't have illicit sex, like don't gamble. I mean, those are the don'ts. What is the do? Do chant, do devotional service, come to the temple, deity worship, hear about Krishna. Those are the do's. So these are the things that, and read the Bhagavad-Gita. So that is how you do the devotional service. You listen to Krishna because he is authority. And if you want someone to actually speak to you in person, there's Srila Prabhupada's books, obviously, but there is his disciples. I listen to classes of my spiritual master a lot because I really want to know what to do. Sometimes, you have questions. Whatever, struggling with something, or there's a big dilemma, or there's something happening, you're confused, you don't know what to do all the time. Open a book of Bhagavad-Gita, or I just go online, and funny enough, there's a shlok on there that applies just for me in that particular day. It just happens. So, never lose hope. Keep praying, keep wishing, keep chanting. Do what Krishna would want you to do. And that concludes our class. Thank you for listening. Does anybody have any comments or questions? No? Okay. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Puran ki Jai.